name is Malloy. My grandmother was born in Germany. Unfortunately, last year she passed away. But one of the best things that my family and I will remember about her is her famous German dishes. And one of her best German dishes was rouladen. Rouladen consists of thinly sliced beef stuffed with pickles, onions, and bacon. And today, I'm going to show you how to make it. The first thing you want to do when getting ready for this recipe is to cut the onion and dice it. I just finished cutting the onion, and now we're going to put these onions in the pan and saute them for 3 or 4 minutes. Now we have our pan here, and while we're waiting to heat it up, I'm going to pour some canola oil in there. And then I'm going to place the onions in. And using a spatula, I'm going to saute them for 3 or 4 minutes until they get tender. We finished getting the onions ready, and you could tell that the color changed very much from a more greenish color to a very clear and kind of brownish color. And next we're going to put these aside and get the pickles ready to cut. Next, we're going to cut the pickles. For this recipe, we're going to make 6 pieces of rouladen, so we're going to need 6 pickles. Well, you might ask, we only have 3 here. So we're going to cut them in half this way, because these are way too thick. As you can now see, I now have my 6 pickles ready, my onions sauteed, and now we're ready for the meat. Here I have the flank steak all laid out. You can tell it's very thin, as shown before, and now I'm just going to spread a little mustard on it. Now you're going to want a pretty good coating of mustard on here, so just make sure you spread it around. Next, you're going to want to put the pickle in the front or at the beginning of the steak. We put it here because when we roll it up, this is going to be where we start, and it makes the process much easier. Next, we're going to want to put onions and just spread them out along the meat. Now, we're not going to want to put it near the top, because that would make it a lot messier when we roll it, and it would just make it a lot easier if we didn't do it. And next, we're going to need some bacon to put on here. But you don't want raw bacon when you put it on here, so you're going to want to cook it a little bit so it's easy enough to still roll up. Next, I'm going to put these 3 pieces of bacon into the pan to be seared a little bit. As I said before, not too much, so it's still soft enough to be rolled in the rouladen. As you can see, it's already changing colors and searing on the end. Now, we want it to be still soft, but hard enough to be rolled into the rouladen. That should be about good. There's one. But I'm going to put 2 pieces lengthwise on this. Just like that. So now I could roll it up. And it rolls up very easy, just like that. Next, I'm putting the toothpicks and twine on. Now, I'm putting the toothpicks in now, so that it holds together when I tie the twine around it. Now I'm putting the twine around it so it holds together and doesn't fall out when I cook it. And now I can take the toothpicks out because it's safe and secure now with the twine. And now I'm ready to put this into the pan, but first I have to make the other 5 like I told you about before. Now all 6 of these are ready to go, all rolled up, all tied up. And meanwhile, put some butter in the pan because that's what we're going to be cooking them in. Now I'm going to dredge these in the flour, and I'm going to show you how to do one of these. Make sure it's covered in flour. Now I just place that in the pan, and it's ready to go. Now I'm going to make them all brown on all these sides, and make sure every side gets all brown. And after I'm done this, we don't want to cook them all the way, but just enough. Now, as you can see, they're starting to get very brown, and we're ready to complete the process and to start adding the last of the ingredients. We're going to add the water, salt and pepper, the bouillon, and the thyme. I'll show you how much we need about each one. We're going to need about 1 1/3 cups of water. Some pepper. Some salt. About 4 teaspoons of bouillon. 4. Next, we're going to need about 1 teaspoon of thyme. Now I want to use the spatula and mix up the ingredients and roll them all around. Now that it's at a boil, I'm going to turn it down to about 200 to 220 degrees and let it simmer. I'm going to cover the top and let it simmer to about 30 minutes. Let's see what it looks like. It's been simmering about for a half hour now. They look great. I'm going to put them on this plate and let them sit there. Now that the rouladin's out, now you can tell that the remaining juices is very thin and that it's too thin for the gravy. So all you want to do is put a tablespoon of flour and pour that in there to make it more thick. Now, after it mixes up and becomes more thick, we can pour it right on the rouladin and make it a tasty gravy. Now, since this is done and the gravy is done, I'm now going to pour about half the cup of the gravy on the rouladin and leave the other half for the people at the table to use to their pleasure. That's about half right there. Now, what you have seen is a beautiful German dish called rouladin. It takes about 30 minutes to prepare and 30 minutes to cook, and it's a delicious treat to enjoy for anyone. I'm very fortunate that my grandmother passed down this beautiful dish, and we're going to enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too.